Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares, and welcome back to What's in the Bag, Jay. Now, this is where I pick 6 movies from my collection that I haven't seen, write their names on a piece of paper, throw them in the bag, draw one out at random, and do a review. Coming back from last week is Scarecrow County, Love and Monsters, Dark Stories, Rabid Grannies, Red Riding Hood, and making his debut this week is One Cut of the Dead. I'm going to give the bag a good tussle, and we're going to see what we're going to watch. Alright, we have Love and Monsters. I'm going to set that aside while I set all the other movies side by side, and take my trusty Freddy vs. Jason die, and we're going to see what comes back next week. Two. Alright. Give the bag a good tussle. Let's see if I can get it unwrapped here. We have Scarecrow County and Rabid Grannies. If you want to see me review Dark Stories, One Cut of the Dead, or Red Riding Hood, make sure you vote, and I will consider bringing them back. But right now, I'm going to go watch Love and Monsters and come back with a review later. Well, I'm back. I just watched Love and Monsters, and here are my thoughts. Love and Monsters is a 2020 film which runs approximately 109 minutes and is directed by Michael Matthews. Now, he was responsible for Five Fingers for Marsalis, which I think I found at the Dollar Tree, if I'm not mistaken, so I'm going to have to watch that. And he was also responsible for some shorts. Now, this stars Dylan O'Brien as Joel. He was in The Maze Runner, Flashback, and Bumblebee. But mostly I know him from playing in Teen Wolf, where he was Styles, the television MTV version. This also stars Jessica Henwick as Amy. She was in On the Rocks, Underwater, and a bunch of shorts and TV. And Michael Rooker as Clyde. He was in Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, love it. Mallrats, awesome. And Slither, another awesome film. I just think he's awesome. He's so cool. Now, this had a worldwide gross of $1,122,066. And the original title was Monster Problems. Okay, they do, actually, Dylan O'Brien does a narration in the beginning of the film. Now, he plays our main character, Joel. And he tells us how this world got to this point. This is actually a post-apocalyptic film, and I recommend this. This would have gone on my modders had I seen it before, because this movie is fantastic. Okay. So he narrates how this world got like this. Apparently, there was a asteroid that was headed for the Earth, a planet killer, called Agatha 6, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong about that. But, of course, all the people in the world got together to save our world, and we shot a bunch of nukes at it, and blew up the asteroid, thereby saving the Earth. Well, nuclear fallout has its own problems, as he put it. And a bunch of radiation and other stuff from the asteroid fell down into the Earth and mutated a bunch of animals and reptiles that we have in our world. So there's like a cat toad, and it sounds silly, but it works. It really does. So then he goes into a bit about where he came from and his love. This was before, of course, all this happened. And he loves a girl named Amy. And deeply in love with her. This, of course, is taking place 7 years after the catastrophe that happened, where all the monsters are kind of ruling the earth. And he wants to get back to his love. Now, here's the thing: monsters, kind of like, if you would say the whole Godzilla thing, are kind of ruling the earth right now. And at this point, 95% of the population has been decimated by these huge mutations. So, they live in underground colonies. And his love, Amy, lives 85 miles away in another colony. And he lives with a bunch of other people in a different colony. And he kind of feels useless because he watched his parents die from one of these mutations. And he kind of freezes whenever he sees one. He's like scared. So he feels useless, and he feels like the people that are in his colony don't really need him. So he decides to break off and go see the love of his life. And that's where I'm going to leave this one. There's a lot more to it. But this movie is so good. This reminded me of Zombieland, but with monsters. It's kind of handled in the same tongue-in-cheek way, kind of. There's a lot of funny parts. There's also a lot of touching parts. And make no mistake, I mean, a lot of people don't consider this a horror movie. This is a horror movie. These mutations are pretty frightening in some parts. Some of them look a little silly, but then they're scary because they'll just rip you to pieces. But this is a horror movie. As much as Godzilla, people consider the kaiju movies a horror movie, this is definitely a horror movie, and it kind of ups the ante a little bit because you have these creepy freaking mutations that you don't know what they're capable of. So yeah, this movie is awesome. I kind of started to feel bad because I knew this came out around the same time as COVID, and this really suffered from the whole COVID thing. And I don't really even like to talk about COVID because I'm sick of hearing about it. But I was talking to Joe the other night, and I said this should have been a major hit. This had everything. This is a date movie, but it's a little creepy. It has love. It has monsters, of course, because it's in the title. It has really compelling characters, and it's just a really good film. This should have been a blockbuster. But because of COVID, it just, I don't know. Oh well. But I'm glad I got to see it. I wasn't really sure what to expect, but this movie is fantastic. I recommend this to anyone. Dylan O'Brien has a screen presence that is just, he's awesome. He's just awesome. He's destined for greatness if he can stay healthy. Because he did hurt himself during one of the Maze Runners movies, I think. But he's definitely got a presence about him. And Michael Rooker is fantastic in this. Michael Rooker's awesome, always awesome. This movie's just great. Definitely good. See this. If you have to watch it on streaming, I don't care. Just watch it. It's fun. It's so much fun. So, vote for the ones that didn't make it. And if you like what you see in here, hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time, peace.